The other day, I saw an ad for pork bacon, and my first thought was, isn't that just bacon? But actually it isn't, because now we have alternatives like turkey bacon. Pork bacon is an example of a retronym, a creation that describes something that used to be the only version of its kind. Think of a manual typewriter, an analog clock, or even a handwritten note. I'm Mignon Fogarty, and this is a video segment of the Grammar Girl podcast. If you want to hear the whole episode and explore years' worth of language stories and grammar tips, you can find the podcast here on my channel, or search for Grammar Girl in Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Retronym is a relatively new word. No dictionary included it until the year 2000, according to an article in the Wisconsin State Journal, which also pins 1980 as the year the term was coined by Frank Mankiewicz, quote, a broadcaster and journalist who was at one time Senator Robert Kennedy's press secretary, unquote. It combines retro, Latin for before, and nym, Greek for name. So a retronym is literally a before name. We covered retronyms in general way back in episode 372, but today we're going to look more closely at the specific retronym, acoustic guitar, which is used to distinguish plain old guitars from electric guitars. Because the word acoustic seems like it might be breaking the bonds that tie it to the word guitar and is being used to mean all kinds of non-electric things. I discovered this development when I posted about pork bacon on Mastodon, and my followers quickly replied with comments about the word acoustic taking on a new role as a retronym designator, expanding far beyond its musical roots. For example, Stephen Bell told me he's heard people referring to regular old bikes as acoustic bikes, as compared to e-bikes. A user going by Lizard joked that maybe we should call landlines acoustic phones. Sprockagarian suggested that we could call snail mail acoustic mail, and paper invitations acoustic vites instead of e-vites. And this possible, or at least joking, expansion of the meaning of acoustic doesn't seem to be completely new either. Joseph Zitt told me he and his friends had a running gag in college in the late 70s about writing on acoustic typewriters. And as an aside, I just learned about typewriter orchestras in which people get together and play typewriters as musical instruments. So in that case, they are more literally acoustic typewriters. I'll put a link to a video in the show notes. Finally, getting back to retronyms in general, they aren't specific to English. Other languages have them too. Linguist Andrew Abdalian, who studies language change in the Tunica language, spoken by the Tunica Biloxi tribe of Louisiana, told me a story about the development of retronyms using the adjective true. He said, for example, the word that once referred just to buffalo is now applied to all bovines. To specify buffalo specifically, you'd now talk about a true bovine. I love how language adapts to our needs. We may end up with pedal bikes instead of acoustic bikes, and acoustic vites may not replace e-vites. I didn't buy the pork bacon, but I'll still take this opportunity to sip on my regular coffee, pop some plain M&Ms, and brag about how I can drive a car with a manual transmission. If you liked the video, check out the full podcast for more. This week, I have a segment about how to tighten up your writing. Thanks to our team at Quick and Dirty Tips for help with the podcast and video, and thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you next time.